The Black Flash, a distortion of space that only occurs under a certain circumstance, that being the application of cursed energy within 1 microsecond of a physical attack. Once these narrow guidelines are fulfilled, you are granted with the impact of a normal attack to the power of 2.5. It is said that there is not a single Jujutsu sorcerer who can use it at will. However, when blessed with these sparks, your understanding of the essence of cursed energy is deemed immeasurable in comparison to those who were not blessed. Before the events of Goodwill, the record for consecutive Black Flashes was held by none other than Nanami alone. Well, in today's video, let's dive into the moment Nanami's record was threatened. What's up guys, Russ Gambler here, and in today's video, I like to go over a very overlooked sequence of events within the Goodwill arc. Now, this is not to say that it compared to the other heists of the Goodwill arc, but in my opinion, it holds its own. So like always, make sure to like, subscribe, and watch it till the end. Of course, like all peaks of Jujutsu Kaisen, we have to set the context, so we'll start at chapter 34. This is the beginning of the Goodwill fight. The Tokyo School students are all running together and they encounter a 3rd grade curse. Maki is about to square up, and in reaction to something else, Megumi tells her to stop. That something else was none other than Todo. He enters the scene like an explosion, and the first words he says are, "Good, everyone's here, let's have everyone come at me." We already knew he was a smoke demon from earlier in this series, but every Tokyo School character against him, he's brave. Sadly, he doesn't get this wish, because as soon as he utters these words, Yuji grabs this man's head and knees him in the face. Then the Tokyo School students just split up. They all expressed their reactions to Todo, describing him as a beast and whatnot. But apparently this was as expected, and we go into a flashback dissecting their morale. Todo's a handful. Worst case scenario, even our combined strength might not be enough to take him down. At first, I was thinking about positioning someone in the rear to keep him occupied, maybe Panda or Megumi. Itadori, we'll leave Todo to you. Maki in her own prowess in battle believes that Yuji has a better chance of handling Todo than anyone else, and Yuji doubles down, saying that if he's going to fight, he's going to win. We go back to the present and Todo has tanked the attack, only complementing Yuji's speed. Yuji is shook. He expected the need to do more damage. Todo winds up a punch in retaliation, warning Yuji that he needs to guard as if his life depended on it. Yuji does just that, and the first sign of luck is thrusted upon us. Conveniently, in the way of Todo and Yuji was the 3rd grade curse from earlier, who ultimately took the impact of Todo's attack first before it hit Yuji himself. It's because of this interference from the curse that Yuji's arms are still intact, as he states himself. But he doesn't even get to talk too much as Todo pulls up and stomps on bro's head, pummeling him until he realizes Yuji's unconsciousness. He turns around to find some more smoke, then Yuji rises up from the dead, saying, "Why'd you go and pound my face like that? You could've made me even dumber." Todo was shook, and in reaction to this, he asked 2 questions. 1. What's your name? And 2. What type of girl do you like? Yuji is confused about the question, but goes on to say 8 words that would literally change Todo's memories, thus showing us the second sign of luck in Yuji. Tall girls with big butts, like Jennifer Lawrence. At that moment, a memory was born inside Todo's brain, of a past event that never happened. We see a fake-ass backstory where Todo tells Yuji he's going to confess his love to Takeda-chan, to where Yuji says he doesn't want to pick up the pieces. Clearly, he thinks Todo has no riz. Todo ends up doing it, and Takeda-chan says that she has a crush on someone else. And like Yuji says, he has to pick up the pieces, taking him out to get ramen. Back to the present, and my boy Todo is crying over his friendship with Yuji. But then the Kyoto School students all pull up on Yuji. Mai misses every shot like always. Miwa, Yuji, after encountering the 3rd student, realizes these people are really trying to kill him. Then a clap, and Yuji suddenly appears where Todo was, while Todo appears where Yuji was. Todo makes the students fuck off as he will kill Itadori himself, as a best friend. We skip to the next chapter when we find out that the Kyoto School students indeed were trying to kill Yuji. Luckily, very luckily, he had created a friendship with Todo just before they executed their plans. We see Yuji and Todo throwing hands, fighting on par, and Todo analyzing everything Yuji's doing. But there's a very big problem. The divergent fist. Hey man, that delayed hit is absolute garbage, bro. Are you okay with being weak? Hell nah. So they continue to box, and Todo literally shows how ass Divergent Fist actually is. How he did this is by interrupting Yuji's punch while it was en route. The main problems for him was the speed of the application of cursed energy and the flow of cursed energy in general. Yuji takes this info in and starts dancing with Todo. Literally dancing, bro. We go a couple chapters without seeing these two dancing their heart outs. Instead, we see the arrival of Hanami and them violating all the students. even to the point where Megumi is about to use Mahuraga, and then... Bam! In a double spread, we see Yuji and Todo enter the scene. Megumi is shook. Stop, Itadori, that's not the kind of enemy we... Megumi is interrupted by his own suffering. Todo tells Panda to take Megumi and Maki out of the curtain, and Megumi is still on his bro crap talking about, oh, y'all can't do anything. I think Megumi needs to realize that Yuji and Todo aren't frauds like him. But Yuji reassures him and Megumi is finally escorted out of the vicinity. Todo steps away and says, Itadori, I won't interfere. Not until you successfully use Black Flash. He doubles down on it, saying that if he doesn't use Black Flash successfully, he'll watch him die. Yuji says got it and walks towards Hanami. Hanami analyzes the situation, claiming Todo certainly has an aura, but he's undoubtedly weaker than himself, and that the entire situation is too mysterious and ambiguous to be taken lightly. Hanami asks Yuji what his move is. Yuji realizes Hanami can talk and asks him if he knows of Mahito. With Hanami's slight implication that he does know of Mahito, Yuji starts throwing hands. Hanami creates distance between them and Yuji throws rocks to close the distance. After doing so, he kicks Hanami 3 times, making Hanami literally state that Yuji is faster or more agile than Maki, but his strength is disappointing. But then we realize that Yuji had been pulling his punches to create an opening to try to use Black Flash. So he tries to take advantage of the said opening and he fails. The attempt, however, created a reaction by Todo, and as a result, he pulls up on his friend and slaps him in the face. What Todo goes on to rant about is the fact that anger is a valuable trigger for sorcerers, and while it could change the tides in your favor at times, there are occasions when anger deteriorates your skill and you would end up getting defeated. So even though Yuji is enraged by recent events, he should suppress this anger, as to not fight like a dumbass. Todo slaps him again and Yuji thanks Todo for his wisdom. Yuji squares up with Hanami once again, and the amount of concentration / focus in Yuji is so apparent. He was so focused in that moment that you could see the juice slip out of his mouth. When an impact of cursed energy is applied within 1 microsecond of a physical attack, space is distorted and cursed energy flashes black. Yuji on his second try has performed Black Flash on a special grade curse. Todo looks like he's about to release his dopamine and Yuji is just shocked at what just happened. He doesn't even recognize his own cursed energy. Todo compares what just happened to cooking. Before, Yuji had been using random ingredients and whatnot, but now with Black Flash, he had gained the ingredient of cursed energy. Now he could familiarize himself with it and have a better understanding of it as a whole. Congrats Yuji, you will be strong. Hanami is shook. They heal themselves and assert that Todo and Yuji are different from everyone they fought before. Todo explains that curses can use reverse curse technique like champs because they are made of cursed energy, but Hanami's cursed energy have been weakened, and if they aim for the head, Hanami's done for. So he asks, Hanami says that they really need to try against Todo and Yuji, and they start boxing once again. Hanami lets off a huge set of tree roots, and Todo reassures Yuji, who is shook by it, that they exchange speed and power for range. Hanami pops up behind Todo and Yuji. They turn around and hit them with the 1-2, making Hanami comment that both Yuji and Todo are able to damage them. The duo decide to sync up better, but then Hanami just deletes the roots from their feet and sends a projectile at them while they're falling. In reaction to this, Yuji and Todo kick themselves onto each other to dodge the attack, and Hanami is shook, but at the same time feeling something else. Fun. Hanami is having fun fighting for once. Todo checks up on Yuji, who is okay, and says that he will use his curse technique. He only says one thing to Yuji: don't stop and believe in me. Well, that was 2 things, but we don't hold that against Todo because he's the GOAT. I mean, a GOAT. You guys already know who the GOAT is. Todo goes on to analyze the entire situation, and using his 53,000 IQ CPU of a brain, he comes to one conclusion. One singular outcome of the battle, and that was victory. But he doesn't take all the credit because this would only be possible with Yuji. Then Todo is caught lacking and thrown into a bed of spiky wood. Or so we thought. Because as soon as his back is about to be pierced, Hanami has appeared where Todo was. This was the work of his curse technique, Boogie Woogie. All he says to Yuji is that clapping his hands is the trigger of the technique and that he wants to hurry up so Hanami doesn't get used to his technique's troublesome nature. So they continue to jump Hanami, and badly at that. We get a particular focus on Yuji's upcoming punch, and then the record holder for consecutive black flashes as told by Kento Nanami. I ain't reading all that, so what he's basically saying is that what happens after the first black flash is that the sorcerers enter what is called the zone. It's kind of like flow in Blue Lock. And so using it consecutively isn't too amazing, but using it more than twice would be difficult to do in a day. Nanami's record was 4 in a row. He claims he was lucky. Cut back to the present moment and Yuji has hit a black flash. Todo was deadass about to cry when seeing this, and then boom boom, 2 more black flashes. That's 3. Hanami adjusts and Todo is seemingly about to switch places with Yuji. He claps and nothing happens. At that moment at least, because upon this realization, the sparks of blacks had reappeared behind Yuji's punch. Yuji has now hit 4 black flashes back to back to back to back, tying the record with Nanami and maybe even breaking the record if we count the black flash from right before. Yuji has officially hit a level that only someone at grade 1 could achieve. Heights no one, not even Megami, could have imagined Yuji reaching in such a short time. After this, they continue to jump Hanami, and Hanami is about to use the domain expansion, and then I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a scene I thought was heavily under-referenced and I wanted to do it justice. Anyways, if you actually did end up enjoying this and watched until the end, consider leaving a like and subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.